speak of the future. My love, she speaks softly. She knows there's no success like failure, and that failure's no success at all.
Songwriting, or maybe just being a writer, is to join the ranks of dreaming, crazy, haunted people who are in pursuit of what only they can see and hear. It's past rationality and strikes out at the core of the commonality of being human. Before there was language, there were melodies. Like the great dreamer himself, Ray Bradbury, said, "If we listened to our intellect, we'd never have a love affair. We'd never have a friendship. We'd never go into business, because we'd be cynical." Well, that's nonsense. You've got to jump off cliffs all the time and build your wings on the way down. So when the very young do it, you know you found someone and something special. That's why the Youth Talent Competition at the Old Settlers Music Festival is one of the best parts of the festival, and we got to experience the whole thing firsthand.
Good morning, Old Settlers. I'm proud of you guys getting up early after incredible late nights, multiple nights in a row. But you've come to the best event of the festival. We've been doing the Youth Talent Competition for most of the time that the festival's been in existence. It's a big part of our mission to develop the next generation of talent, and we have an incredible crop of talent here to perform for you. We had 21 contestants submit videos over the last several months. There was a semifinal round at the Buta's birthday at the Buta Amphitheater, and they got a chance to get up and perform to open for James McMurtry and Bob Schneider. The kids had a great time. It was an incredible event. And then the finalists are here to perform for you this morning. Before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors. So both the Band-Aid School of Music and HEB sponsored this event. So give them a round of applause. It wouldn't be possible without them. All right, well, let's get started. Our first contestant is Ira Thorne Clifton, and he's an 11-year-old homeschooler who's been composing since he could talk. He's been playing guitar for about the last 3 years, and his lyrics are inspired by his time creating in his East Austin backyard, and also for time spent exploring the Rocky Mountains near Lake City, Colorado. Give it up for Ira.
At the end of the morning when my chores are done, sit in the shade and I watch the sun. Have to wonder inside my head, what will this day be? Can't remember the last time shook somebody's hand, like I'm stuck in a prison, free to roam the land. Over these years I've already found that it ain't fun being alone. Keep my head above water and my feet on the ground. Guess I'm finally going home. Finally going home. At the end of the morning when the sun is high, rain a cloud in that blue, blue sky, whisper softly to myself, what if I were there? There's a time to learn, there's a time to know where trouble is and where to go. And all as long
Would you mind introducing yourself?
I'm Ira Clifton.
I'm Brent Clifton.
So tell me a little bit about how you got into songwriting. How long you've been playing?
Well, there was never like, now I'm playing. It was kind of just slowly developed through my whole life. And I started songwriting maybe 3-4 years ago.
Probably. That too sort of developed slowly and gradually.
But then the songs that I like am playing and played at the show, I think the oldest one was like 2 years. And then the most recent was a few months ago.
I see the sky, I see those giant clouds rolling by.
Yeah, so are you finding that you're picking up writing faster? Is it kind of coming into focus for you? Because your songs it's like what B.B. King said he was like, you're mighty young and be writing such deep lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what your process is to write songs. I mean, what I was hearing is you're observing things around you, like the subtle things like the seasons and the trees changing, and subtle things like darkness and light and wind and loneliness, things like that.
Yeah, I like
kid your age wouldn't notice. So
I like the element type things. I often like don't know what my songs are about sometimes, or like that one West of My Window. That one I still don't really understand it, but I was kind of putting myself in other people's perspective. I like doing that, and then I like nature and seasons and yeah.
Let your light shine through my window. Fill this dark, desperate room.
what do you like to listen to that inspires you songwriting-wise?
I don't know, what do we listen to? All kinds of...
We listen a lot, certainly. I mean, I think Crying would be pretty deeply embedded as maybe sort of feels like the cornerstone of all these things. Crying and other, Townes Van Zandt, the kind of classic songwriters, Americana writers. But then, I mean, it's fairly all over the map. Isbell's been a big one over the years, Watch House, but also, Bon Iver and, like Wilco and Sundold and Lord Huron, or try to branch out. It probably stays pretty narrow for a lot of the time, but a lot of listening, a lot of playing, and he just sort of picked up all these things super early and had a knack for guitar and theory and harmony singing, and so we've just done it around the house for forever, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, it struck me with what you said about how you don't know what your songs are about. That's to me, because I'm a songwriter too, and I've had that same experience. And then you will write a song, and you may be too young to experience this yet, but you'll write a song, and then a couple of years later, you're like, oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, a couple of them I have started to understand. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, let's see, like End of the Morning, I wrote that song and I was just like putting like stuff that rhymes. But then I kind of came to understand that it's like the end of the beginning, like kind of going into the real thing. So that one I've come to understand.
Which is kind of where you're at. You're sort of at the end of the beginning of your life. It feels
that's
like.
A subtle thing to write. I mean, that's a very profound thing to write about. And that, to me, that's where the channel is open, and you're writing about these subtle things that a lot of people don't talk about, but everybody knows. To me, that's the real power of what songs do. You're doing that.
Thanks.
So, Brent, you are also a songwriter.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about your work?
Yeah, I've played since I was his age, but really didn't start writing till 5 or 6 years ago. And it's been such a great... I always wanted to write. There was the whole thing of thinking you can't, and, this long journey of finally beginning to crack some sort of code, and it's such a delightful thing to participate in. Like he's saying, like that process of what we were talking about, like often writing and not knowing what it is, sort of freeing your subconscious to say what it needs to say, and then you come back and learn things from that thing that you can't always access.
Yeah, you're kind of like learning about yourself.
For sure.
By writing.
I think you absolutely are. So that's been great. So I had a record come out about a year ago that's also on streaming stuff, and we haven't co-written, and we'll collaborate quite a bit with songs once they're done, but we haven't really gone there yet, but we should.
There's lots of time hopefully to do that.
Yeah,
That'd be cool,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm from Nashville. I should probably be co-writing.
Well, that's it.
We're supposed to do, right?
Yes, what you're supposed to do out there. Texans are a little bit more solitary.
That's
but
right.
It's like,
A little independent down here.
yeah. Well, that's really cool. Now, do you have any records out that we?
Yeah, so it's under my name, Brent Clifton, called The End of Things, and that's on Spotify and Apple and everything.
We'll plug that as well.
Yeah, great.
So.
Great.
Get left so far behind. So what in the world's come over you?
Is there anything that you guys want to tell our audience that they may to find out more about Ira's music?
Great question. Give them a plug.
Well, I had an EP that came out a couple days ago, and it's my first ever. A couple of the songs I played today.
And it's under,
under Ira Thorne.
Ira Thorne with an E, Thorne with an E.
Yep.
And so it's just like 4 or 5 songs on the.
Yeah, 5. Yeah.
Okay, and where can we find it?
All the streaming services: Spotify, Apple. Yeah.
Yep. YouTube.
Yep.
All the things.
Self-titled Ira Thorne is the record.
End of the Morning is the name of the
Yeah.
EP.
Okay, well, End of the Morning by Ira Thorne just came out, so we're going to plug that. Ira, Brent, thank you for taking time to sit with us, and congratulations.
Thank you.
You bet.
You bet.
Is a true Old Settlers baby. He came out to the festival the first time when he was 5 weeks old and has been coming ever since. And now at the ripe old age of 11, he's here to perform on the main stage. He started playing piano when he was 4, but since then he's become a true multi-instrumentalist. He plays the guitar, the mandolin, the drums, the ukulele, the melodica, the harmonica, the bass, and just started learning the saxophone. He's currently living in Costa Rica, but he was born in Amarillo, Texas. Please welcome Oliver to the stage.
Hi, my name's Oliver. Thanks for having me. Like they said, I've been going since I was 5 weeks old, so it's really amazing getting to play here. So I'm not going to talk a lot in between my songs because I have a lot of songs that I want to play. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? For I can't.
All right. Please help me welcome the next contestant to the stage. Gigi Shafi is a junior in high school in Houston, and she likes playing all different styles of music, from bluegrass to Americana to folk to blues and jazz. She's going to be heading off to college soon, and after college she wants to get a dental degree, but I don't think that she's going to need it, because I think she's going to be a full-time musician after you hear this. Please welcome Gigi.
Sorry, it's a little drag here. How are y'all doing? Good? Me too. I'm a little nervous. But thank you. I'm Gigi. I'm from Houston, so I drove over this morning. It was a little bit of a drive, but it was worth it. So I'm gonna play a few songs for y'all.
Oh, Jeremiah, tell me what have you done? You took all the love she gave, you took it all and away you run.
Would you mind to introduce yourself to us?
Hi, I'm Gigi Shafi. I'm from Houston, Texas. I was able to play here at Old Settlers, and yeah, I'm a junior in high school. Yeah.
That's great. Well, welcome to Old Settlers. We're so proud of what you did today. It's really cool to hear you play and sing.
Yeah.
So you're from Houston, and how long have you been playing music and writing songs?
Well, I've just loved music all my life, but I feel like I started when I was 8. That's when I forgot my first guitar. Yeah, then it just started from there. I started with the guitar, and like it was too big for my body, so then I switched to the ukulele, and then I started out going to nursing homes. My mom would drive me and take me to nursing homes, and I would just play for the people there. And then we started enrolling in competitions, and it's just something that I've always loved. I've always just loved playing for the people, not necessarily putting on a show, but getting to share music with them, making them happy. So
That's cool. That's a very compassionate thing to do, to start out at going to nursing homes. Music is a healing thing.
Yeah.
And I've seen it do kind of miraculous things sometimes.
It really does. It does.
Why don't you feel the need?
Well, so during that time you started writing your own songs. Was that something you were interested in, or started happening? Do you mind to talk a little bit about your process?
Well, I feel like I started writing songs a little bit more recently, because when I was younger, I tried, but I would only write the music. And words didn't really come easily to me, just because I feel like that comes with experience over time. And I started out writing Christmas songs, and my mom would help me write them. But, more recently, ever since I got to high school, I started writing more with lyrics too. And that just comes with experience. I have more, experiences to talk about. And I played one that I wrote last week, and, it's still a little bit rough, but yeah, it's something that's kind of therapeutic to me in a way. I just like writing what I'm thinking. Yeah,
sort of the inside world manifest in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to get through, but I realize we're not the same. You love your games, I won't realize when you kiss me.
Yeah, and so songwriting's new. So tell us a little bit about what it's like. How did you get here to the Old Settlers competition and that type of thing?
Well, this morning I woke up at 6:30. And we started driving over, but yeah, it was a little bit of a drive, but it was worth it. I played at Old Settlers a few years back, and that's how we found out about it. My mom was the one always searching for these things, and I was able to play back then. And
did you play the same?
I played the same place. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
so you can do it multiple times.
You can do it multiple times. Yes. Yeah, but it's great. The people here, ever since when I first came here, nothing's changed in the best way. People are just very welcoming. You never have to worry about, kind of feeling excluded. Everybody's coming up to you, saying hi, But yeah, I love it. Everybody's so kind here,
That's great.
Two days past 18, he was waiting for the bus in his army green.
I heard earlier when they were announcing you on the stage that you have plans to go into the dental field.
Yeah.
That may change depending on the music.
Yeah.
I'm actually supposed to be wearing my retainer right now, and I'm not. But yeah, I feel like my whole family, my mom, my dad, they're both doctors, they're physicians. And, you know, I'm very proud of them. And it's something that my family is very, like, you know, driven towards, you know, working in the medical field. And it's not that I necessarily want to, like, you know, turn away from that, but I feel like a separate path. I mean, it's still in the medical field, but it's something a little bit different that I'm interested in. I love science. I started taking anatomy this year, and I just really love it. So we'll see if it changes. Probably will, but as of now, I've been really interested in that, and that's probably what I'm going to apply for. But yeah.
But music will probably stick with you as well, I suppose.
Music will definitely stick with me. There have been times where, you know, I haven't touched my guitar in months, but then, like, I always pick it right back up. So I don't think that's something that's ever going to leave me. Yeah.
That's great. Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Congratulations.
This is the moment we've been waiting for. Let's get all three of these contestants out on the stage. I don't care who won. All of these are winners. They're all going to have careers in music. Give them a huge hand. And they are all receiving a cash prize for making it to the finals here today. So they really are all winners. But one of them is going to get a chance to play their own set on this stage next year. And the winner is Ira. All right, give them all a big hand. This is why we jeweled Settlers, to develop the next generation of talent.
Now, you just won this contest this year. I think, you, like they said, everybody is a winner, but you're able to come back and play a full set. So tell me, what was it like? Was this the first time you've played Old Settlers?
Yeah, like I said, I came here once when I was 5, and then my mom found the talent show, and I came in and made it to where I am.
And I don't think any other contests, right? Not really. I mean...
No. I've competed, but I've...
Okay.
Kerrville.
Yeah, I guess you entered that, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been something he's done much of, but been on stage a fair amount.
Yeah.
So you did play at Kerrville or just participated some? Yeah.
I just entered, like, into the contest, but I didn't make it, which is understandable because the people that did are very good.
Well, I think you will one of these days, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans for what you're going to do for your set next year? You going to get a band?
Well, yeah, I probably will get some people, and then we'll just rehearse a bunch. And, like, right now I couldn't play full set, but I think I could get there.
Work toward, you know?
Right. Yeah, that'll be fun. I think I can get a band and work up a set. Yeah.
Is there a chance that you might be in the band with Ira on the...
I'm crossing my fingers.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's up to him.
Well, see, it's up to the boss, but I do hope so, yeah. I think we'll be able to put a fun band together.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
you can't picture, Leonard Skinner without Ronnie Van Zant, and Ronnie Van Zant without the high roller hat with the Rattlesnake Band on it. The high roller actually was created by my grandfather for my dad, who at the time was selling insurance in Waco. When he sent it to him, he put a note with it that, he wasn't anything but a high roller, wanted to go have coffee with the ladies selling insurance instead of coming back to work for him. Of course, that triggered it because he started selling more hats than he was insurance.
Come on down to Texas Hatters, where we top the best.
Looking for a getaway with a little extra charm? Welcome to Birdie House, a stunning neoclassical Victorian mansion right in the heart of historic Lockhart, Texas, where small-town charm meets big-time memories. Whether you're booking a weekend retreat, weddings, or a photo shoot, Birdie House blends antique elegance with modern comfort for an unforgettable stay. And here's a little insider tip. When you book through Airbnb, tell the host to, quote, tip the band, and you'll get a discount. Ready to experience Texas hospitality at its finest? Visit birdiehouse.com to learn more. Birdie House. Stay a while. Make some memories.
When I take my sugar to tea, all the boys are jealous of me.
Well, thanks for tipping the band.
Join 78644 Friends, a community making sure musicians can thrive. For $5 a month, 100% of your donation goes straight to the artist. Thanks to our subscribers, we've raised over $8,000 and counting. Just recently, we tipped musician Dustin Welsh $474. By subscribing, you're truly helping. Sign up today at 78644podcast.com.
78644, tastiness is mine.
We're gonna make 30 a mandatory retirement age. And we're gonna set up rehabilitation camps, mercy centers in every state of the Union. Citizens will report to them after 5 years, at the age of 35. And there, in groovy surroundings, we're gonna psych them all out on LSD, babies. That way, they're not gonna hurt you, and they're not gonna hurt me, and babies, they're not even gonna hurt themselves anymore. They want drafters. We'll draft them!
I know I can't be counting on you.
Well, let's talk a little bit just to the audience that you're a songwriter and a musician. Also, you have Sunflower and Friends, which is a music store, instrument shop, and repair shop.
Yeah.
And the school. Can you just talk briefly about those parts of your world?
Yeah, it's a store aspect of it. You know, it's mostly just kind of a vintage adjacent guitar shop. Been doing a lot of things with just vintage clothes too. Just things that are like being in Lockhart, I like to have it be a little bit of a gift shop, but it's also things where it's like my friends, if they're looking for a cool hat or something, like if they're going to a gig, it's like, oh, pack of strings and yeah, I want to wear those sunglasses at the show tonight. And just kind of lifestyle kind of vibe is where I've always thought it should go. I've been moving more in that direction and I've been really happy with how that's going. And the repair shop aspect of things, like I've been doing, customizing guitars. This is a guitar that my dad had gotten. I think it was an old Carvin, back when Carvin was using German Hofner parts. So my dad's the guy that got me into fixing, repairing, modifying stuff. So this is the first electric guitar I ever saw in person. It has a fuzz. It takes two 9-volt batteries.
Yeah, because you and your dad were like mad scientists.
Yeah, I mean, talk about mad. The vibrato bar is made out of a wrench that he welded to a bolt to fit into the threads. These are old mini humbuckers out of Les Paul Deluxe that his friend had that routed it out and put DiMarzios or something in it. So, it's in my nature to, via my immediate family, to be artistic and to tinker with things and modify things. So anyway, that's kind of where I come from with having a repair shop just makes sense to offer those abilities to other.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing I like about Sunflowers, you've got like one-of-a-kind stuff like that. Like that amp I bought from you. I'll have to show that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like an old speaker from a high school.
Yeah, like a ceiling speaker that's kind of angled so it would drop down, but if you flip it around the other way, it's got a cool angle, so it kind of points
like
up at you.
And it doesn't sound like any other amp. It's like a hybrid of all these amps. It's tube amp, but it's made from guts of an organ.
Yeah.
But and then you have the
music school.
Music school. Music school.
Yeah.
You talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've got several teachers. We just did a student showcase at the Gaslight Baker Theater last Saturday. Man, I was just so proud of the teachers that we have. And when I got the opportunity to take some guitar lessons when I was young, and it was a very rigid thing. This guy said, you have to learn these basics of acoustic fingerstyle blues picking or whatever. And I wanted to hear electric guitars. And what I really like about what's going on with the school and seeing it through the showcase, like one student, like there was original songs, there were improvisational live things. So everyone's getting a very unique experience with a lot of attention of like, what are they drawn to? What is sort of going to keep their interest peaked in music? Because if that's peaked, then that student has the fluid ability to tap into creative expressiveness and getting their feelings out there. And I think that's super, super cool. Got to see that at the recital and kind of get a gauge on how that's really working out. And I was just really proud of the teachers and all the students with the bravery to get up and do that stuff. So yeah, big shout out to all the teachers.
When does this school take place? Is it every day of the week, or is it just on certain days?
Yeah, the shop is open Tuesday through Saturday. We do lessons Tuesday through Friday. And pretty much all throughout the day, we've got about 8 teachers, and they all have their student load, and it's a weekly lesson. Student may show up once a week for a half-hour lesson or an hour-long lesson, just depending on what their focus is and their bandwidth and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this new record. It's first record in a long time, right?
I guess the last one was, I'm always bad with numbers and things like that. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, somewhere in there. Yeah. And that record took a lot of years to make. It was kind of surprising it was even that late coming out, but yeah.
And this one, did you do kind of by yourself, or like?
Most of them I do, even back to, my prior moniker was Silver Ships. And, it's just at a certain point, for the stuff I wanted to create, it was just kind of easier to not be calling people and bugging them to, hey, can you come play drums on this like several times while I figure it out in the studio, and having the basic abilities to do several things, just play all the stuff, record it, It's kind of like a therapeutic process too, to be able to have a home studio and to have that outlet. So
yeah. And so with this one, that was the case. You had some songs and then you started and played everything on the record yourself, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of songs that my good friend Ben Jacks, another guy that lives in Lockhart, he played drums on a couple things, which was fitting. Just some of the compositions I'm getting into, being precise is a little more important than it used to be on some stuff, and he's a great drummer. So other than that, I think it's all me other than that on this record.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know some of your work in the past has had a theme, or did this one have that?
It's funny because like the theme always tends to be like whatever is a big theme in my life. I write from personal experience for the most part, and like what my friends are going through, what we talk about. And with this one, I kind of landed on the collection of songs, the ones I thought that were the strongest, and I took a line from one of the tunes, Canary in the Gold Mine, and I think that sort of ended up being like, okay, I think that does sort of represent some of the undertones, some thematic things that are in each of the songs for the most part. But yeah, which is, I don't know, it's an interesting line.
Yeah. As the sound, can you just kind of describe the sound? Is it different than the last record a bit?
Yeah, there's 2 things that I was interested in, as it seems to turn out, as I can reflect on it. One was simpler compositions, easier things to perform live. The previous record, which was called A Telephone for Flowers and Ghosts, I went from recording on an 8-track tape machine to a 16-track machine, and I just went as full hog wild as I possibly could,
Right.
trying to see how I could push my abilities to play instruments I wasn't as familiar with, like organ and piano, and it's got like some songs have 4 mellotrons on them and stuff.
Wow.
So compositionally and like as far as the musicianship, I pushed myself really hard to do something that was musically complex and challenging. This one, I was, after having to play that record live a few times, it's like, that's a lot of people to keep together to do such a thing. And just, as we've gone through things like the pandemic and all that, and everyone's growing up and getting older, and everyone's really kind of honing in on a lot of musicians are, have different relationships with how they want to do music and have music in their life. So having a huge band didn't make sense to me. So simpler compositions, easier to play live. The other thing was going a little bit more back to some of my earlier musical solo roots and getting a little more spacey with things. So less instruments, but maybe a little more ethereal at certain points.
Yeah, some more textural kind of sounds and sound design.
Yeah. So the latest single that I put out is called On the Road to El Dorado.
On you to satisfy the times that I spent hurting, the times you made me cry. And I don't really know if I ever knew you. Couldn't bear the weight of what happened to you.
And I do like, it's the newest one that I wrote, so that's my favorite, and that's the way it always seems to go. But I think that one too, sort of like, it's not so much in the spacey, esoteric world, like it's a little more rooted, the lyrics are a little more plain and relatable. To my specific experience and hopefully to other folks too. And I like that because it gives a little bit of a sounding board for some of the weirdness of the album.
Okay. So it has it's got the good hybrid of the songs and the sonic.
Yeah, sonically that's kind of like where it's at.
It's about, you said the road to El Dorado?
Yeah, it's like each verse kind of handles a little bit of a separate story relating to myself or friends. There's a line that covers some things about my relationship with my late father. And it's kind of fits with the theme of the Wreck of the Canary and the Gold Mine thing. It's like El Dorado, the lost city of gold.
Old man lost his last bed.
Kind of theme of the song is like when you're out chasing that gold, that big prize, it's like whatever we tell ourselves that we're working hard towards to get some big reward.
And at the end of the line, there's a whole lot of money in the back of a Texas waterfall. And many a man has lost his mind.
All the sorts of things that you might neglect along the way. Relationships, friendships, and along those paths, some of those people might not even be alive anymore to reconcile with or to share in that glory, should you even find it at the end of that road. So that's the all-encompassing sort of feeling and vibe of that song for me.
Put it down.
You know, what does this place look like if I just showed up? You know, what is
going
new
back
about
to your first impression?
Absolutely.
Almost.
I feel like places have a kind of color or a hue to them, and this place is really faded. It's like faded paint everywhere you look.
I've lived here for so long now. I've lived here longer than anywhere else. I cannot feel connected to a place until I start painting it. You know, I feel like every house should have a room where you can make a pretty good mess. You know, I paint in my own mad and disturbing way, and I need to yell a lot and curse a lot while I paint. It's a furious kind of endeavor for me. It's more like wrestling. It's a challenge. It's almost like I have to paint with my left hand. You know, the control freak that I have in me, I have to let paint do its own thing, and I try not to get in the way of it too much. I don't like to spend that much time on anything. Any paintings, 2-3 days tops.
You might have some perfectionism in other areas of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
Would it be okay if I very quickly see the orderliness of your house?
Yeah, absolutely. But we have to be quiet. I don't think it's German orderly. That's all I need. Yeah, okay. I too have I have some memories about showing up in Central Texas. It's not at all what I expected it to be. I almost feel like I showed up from a different planet, but grackles and live oak trees, and the roofs of a lot of the houses here don't have gutters. I was also really struck by that. Just a few quirky details. They're very special. I kind of try to see it still in that way.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, Texas Hatters, Wella Foods, Thunderbird Bars, and our in-kind sponsors, Printing Solutions, Courthouse Nights, The Rock House Airbnb, Birdie House Airbnb, Gaslight Baker Theater, and Crystal Glaze Photography. 78644 is produced by Kate Collins, recorded at Troubadour Image and Sound, and filmed in Lockhart, Texas. Edited by GHA Marketing, social media managed by GHA Marketing and Crystal Glaze. Music this episode by Aaron Copeland, Chazz Bessette, and myself, Stephen Collins. A special thank you to the City of Lockhart, Texas, the Old Settlers Music Festival, Night Beats, and Brandon Gray. Our show is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Radio Public, YouTube, and wherever else podcasts are streamed. I'm Stephen Collins, and you're listening to 78644.